we know that the president this year, I think this is the first time we're hearing him for this particular year,
Yes.
Pardon over 1,500,
Yes.
Inmates. But let's talk about, some of the sentiments that are coming through from other stakeholders saying, there is need for the president to actually pardon more than this number because of the current number of, inmates that are within these correctional facilities, heavily congested. Do you think the president could have, pardoned more than this number from the day before yesterday?
Those sentiments are okay, but for us as Prisons Care and Counselling Association, and we've been monitoring closely the president's action from the time he took over, we are satisfied with that number, because if you look at, you add up all the numbers from 2021 December to this day, you are looking at about slightly more than 6,000 pardoned people, and that is in less than 2 years. So if you were to calculate 3,000 per year in 2 years, that is still fair. What is important, I think, for us is to find ways and means of assisting these pardonees for community re-entry first, before we talk about reintegration. And my advice later on, as we discuss, will be going to those same pardonees that they need to form cooperatives so that they benefit from the Constituency Development Fund and CEC and other schemes that we have in Zambia. That is where the concentration should be. So we don't want any one of those 1,530 to reoffend. We don't want that. We want to reduce the level of recidivism or number of reoffending. And so he has done his part, but there are a lot more other pies that needs to do with stigma, rejection, and discrimination, or preparation for the reception for those who were pardoned.
Oh, you bring up a very interesting point here, especially on the fact that some of these inmates, after or upon being released from incarceration or being pardoned, or them serving their time, they tend to now again be reintegrated into the system because of having to get back into committing some of these heinous crimes. But would you say that this is because these individuals have nowhere to go or where to start from, is why they get back into some of these criminal activities, which eventually leads them back, getting back into being incarcerated?
Yeah, I always thank radio stations like Diamond TV. You have always been there. I'm very, very TV station. Yeah. I'm very, very thankful, because the work you are doing here is really helping in contributing to the reduction of stigma. There are a lot of people who still think that prisoners do not change, even when we have so many of progressive ex-prisoners like myself. So yes, the reception is difficult, and problems of relatives and spouses, also preparing the reception. But I must mention that May is actually the right time, because there's a lot of food. We can only appeal to our tradition leaders, the spouses, and their relatives to receive these that are pardoned. There's a process when the people are pardoned. Again, out there, people think they'll just go there, blow the whistle, and pick 10 from Chimbakaida, 10 from Kamfinsa. No, there's a process of assessing these people, and that is why we have the Presidential Prerogative of Mercy Committee, which actually involves a lot of people that do sit to look at the records and the levels of rehabilitation and remorse, and also what you were doing. How progressive were you? Because most of these centers are now examination centers. So these who are pardoned are progressive, are changed, are rehabilitated, most of them with academic qualifications or vocational skills qualifications. Yes, the problems are there, but we need to work together to complete the cycle of rehabilitation. Like I was saying, the president has done his part. This is not the first time. There are a lot more other good things. The political will towards us, ex-prisoners, the criminal justice system in Zambia is very good. This is the right time. We need to work together to score many more achievements.
Well, you mentioned that it's commendable that the president is doing something like this, having to pardon this number of inmates, and you're even going back as looking at how many inmates he's pardoned the last 2.5 years that have gone by. But Let's also speak towards the welfare of some of these inmates, some of these individuals that are incarcerated. We look at the living conditions within these correctional, facilities. And one of the things that I'd mentioned to you earlier on is that I'd actually, visited one correctional facility from the female side, and from what I saw, the living conditions are something that I was not expecting to see. But would you say that enough is being done now by government to also look into the welfare, not only of those that have been, released into society, but even those that are currently still within these correctional facilities?
I will say we are not yet there. The picture is not yet rosy. We still have a lot of work to do, but I will commend the foundations that are put in place. If you look at the law review itself, the name, the change of the model from the punitive one to correctional model, and we are under the new law, Correctional Act number 37, and in that Correctional Act number 37, there are a lot of good things suggested. Previously, before we repealed the Prisons Act Cap 96, the circumstantial children you are talking about, for example, were not provided for in terms of special basic needs or dietary scale. But in the new law, the funds are coming from the Minister of Finance to feed those children. But feeding them is not enough. It is not the only thing that we need to do. So yes, congestion levels are still there. The total number of our correctional capacities, holding capacity, is about, I think, 9,600, thereabout. But we are talking about more than 20,000. So you can see congestion is still there. We need this government, and we do not doubt them, that they will really embark soon on rehabilitating, refurbishing, and building probably one or two, especially reformatory schools, because all the governments from 1964 have not built any new reformatory school. The 3 reformatory schools were left by our colonial masters, and that is a disaster. So we need the government to improve in that area. But if you look at what the president has done, again, slightly improving the welfare of, for example, the accommodation or their sleep, the distribution, the procurement and distribution of blankets and bunker beds made by inmates themselves, and that is going to assist a lot. So we do not doubt. We know that things will be better. We are not yet there. The start, the beginning, the will, the desire of the president himself is really, really exciting all of us, and we are elated. He has actually made our job easier.